Dilip Bhatt joining into the conversation. Dilip, we've discussed these stocks ad nauseum through this week actually, but can't help it. What have you made of Indiabulls housing finance with the kind of events that have happened this week? And what would your recommendation be on the stock?
I think very broadly, if you see that we have seen that the company does come out with a clarification as to what really happened. I'm talking about Indiabulls, and they really gave a very prompt, swift clarification about the issue that they were facing in the court. And I think markets just bounced back a little. But having said that possibly in the short run, that it may remain in a trading zone. But by and large, I think the apprehension on the macro factors as well as the management, as well as the issues that they are facing, that refuses to die down. So sooner or later, they really remain as a big overhang, and that's what we have seen happening, whether it's DHFL, whether it's Yes Bank, whether it's Indiabulls Housing Finance. So if you get into the nitty-gritty, yes, some clarification may help here and some clarification may help there. But by and large, it's a matter of perception, and that perception really drives, determines your upside. And in my opinion, I think the upside appears to be capped at the moment. And given the liquidity situation and the kind of things that we are hearing on the NBFC issues and the housing finance issues, I don't think that it will die down so quickly. I think something or the other will continue to bother and haunt the investors.
Dilip, hi, good afternoon. I wanted your thoughts on Zee Entertainment. Once again, the stocks gravitating lower, 336 now, down 30% this year.
Sure. I think, Anuj, as far as Zee is concerned, I think there's some news which is coming that the promoter has refused to sell a part of the stake at whatever price probably they got the offer, and now at the moment there's nothing on the table. But I think more important than that, see, if one were to say purely on fundamental basis, Zee is an excellent buy if one were to really ignore all the noise around. And oblivious of that, I think Zee really becomes, on a fundamental basis and the kind of cash that they're generating, it becomes a reasonably very good buy. But the point is, the kind of debt which he has to service and repay, I think that event really threatens to happen more immediately, and that is why I think the stock price will not move up and possibly will remain weak unless and until one sees a very clear resolution on the debt front of the promoters. Till that time, I think Zee will continue to be under the bearish cloud.
Well, Zee is definitely under that cloud today as we are seeing that pressure continue. I'm not going to ask you about the Bajaj twins because that's a very well-known sort of positioning in the market. But beyond those two names, if you were to look at fresh NBFC purchases right now, which stocks would make the cut for you?
Well, in terms of taking everything put together, in terms of, say, the growth prospects, and in terms of availability of liquidity to some of these NBFCs, I think the one or two NBFCs certainly merits a look. I think Shriram Transport looks pretty good for us from the current levels. I think Mahindra Finance also looks pretty interesting even from the current levels. And Manappuram Finance, of course, has always been having very good return on equity as well as ROAs. So that's another stock that looks pretty interesting from the current levels, despite the fact that it's hit a new high. I think all these three stocks should be taken from the current levels, say for a 6 to 8 months investment, and I think it will give a reasonably very good return.
Okay, Dilip, we leave it there today. Thanks a lot for joining us.